In modern times, the circle of vision has become so narrow, so degraded, so beastly. None is desiring anything beyond this body. Oh, the terrible degradation! What little flesh, the five senses, the stomach. What is the world but a combination of stomach and sex? Look at millions of men and women. That's what they're living for. Take these away, and they will find their life empty, meaningless, and intolerable. These desires of the body bring only momentary satisfaction and endless suffering. It is like drinking a cup of which the surface layer is nectar, while underneath all is poison. But we still hanker for all these things. What can be done? Renunciation of the senses and desires is the only way out of this misery. If you want to be spiritual, you must renounce. This is the real test. Give up the attachment to the world, this nonsense of the senses. There is only one desire: to know what is true, to be spiritual. If a man's hands and feet were so tied that he could not move, and then if a burning piece of charcoal were placed on his body, he would struggle with all his power to throw it off. When I shall have that sort of extreme desire, that restless struggle to throw off this burning world, then the time will have come for me to glimpse the divine truth. The senses drag the human soul out. Man is seeking for pleasure and for happiness where it can never be found. For countless ages we are all taught that this is futile and vain. There is no happiness here. But we cannot learn. It is impossible for us to do so except through our own experiences. We try them, and a blow comes. Do we learn then? Not even then. Like moths hurling themselves against the flame, we are hurling ourselves again and again into sense pleasures, hoping to find satisfaction there. We return again and again with freshened energy. Thus we go on, till crippled and cheated we die. And this is Maya. Many want pleasure as the goal. For that pleasure they seek only the senses. The man whose pleasure is outside of himself becomes unhappy when that outside thing goes. You cannot depend for this pleasure upon anything in this universe. If all my pleasures are in myself, I must have pleasure there all the time, because I can never lose myself. Mother, father, child, wife, body, wealth, everything I can lose except myself. Bliss in the self. Atma. All desire is contained in the self or spirit. This never changes, and this is perfect. Whosoever seeks pleasure in objects will get it, but he must take the pain with it. There is no possibility of ever having pleasure without pain, good without evil, for living itself is just the lost equilibrium. What we want is freedom, not life, nor pleasure, nor good. What is the goal of it all? Can senses ever be the goal? Can enjoyment of pleasure ever be the goal? Can this life ever be the goal of the soul? If it is, better die this moment. Do not want this life. If that is the fate of man, that he is going to be only the perfected machine, it would just mean that we go back to being trees and stones and things like that. Every human being has an ideal of infinite pleasure. Most of the works that we find around us, the activities displayed everywhere, are due to the struggle for this infinite power or this infinite pleasure. But a few quickly discover that infinite pleasure is not to be got through the senses, or in other words, the senses are too limited and the body is too limited to express the infinite. To manifest the infinite through the finite is impossible, and sooner or later, man learns to give up the attempt to express the infinite through the finite. This giving up, this renunciation of the attempt, is the background of ethics. Renunciation is the very basis upon which ethics stands. There never was an ethical code preached which had not renunciation for its basis. All the misery of the world is caused by this slavery to the senses. Our inability to rise above the sense life, the striving for physical pleasures, is the cause of all the horrors and miseries in the world. The lower the organism, the greater is its pleasure in the senses. Think of the lowest animals and the power of touch. Everything is touch. When you come to man, you will see that the lower the civilization of the man, the greater is the power of the senses. The higher the organism, the lesser is the pleasure of the senses. A dog can eat a meal, but cannot understand the exquisite pleasure of thinking about metaphysics. He is deprived of the wonderful pleasure which you get through the intellect. The pleasures of the senses are great. Greater than those is the pleasure of the intellect. When you attend the fine 50-course dinner in Paris, that is pleasure indeed. But in the observatory, looking at the stars, seeing worlds coming and developing, think of that. It must be greater, for I know you forget all about eating. That pleasure must be greater than what you get from worldly things. You forget all about wives, children, husbands, and everything. You forget all about the sense plane. That is intellectual pleasure. It is common sense that it must be greater than sense pleasure. It is always for greater joy that you give up the lesser. This is practical religion, the attainment of freedom, renunciation. Sri Ramakrishna used to say, "Whoever can give up the sex idea can spurn at the world. He who has given up the sense enjoyments, the outgoing tendencies of whose mind have been stopped, know for certain that God is not far away from such a heart. His shadow has already fallen there. He can no longer keep himself away from such a devotee who cares not for anything else. Then he feels an ecstatic joy in every pore of his body. So intense is the joy that caught in it, he loses all outward consciousness. He goes into trance and enjoys this ineffable joy in one continuous stream of consciousness. If that highest bliss is to be attained and enjoyed without any break, the desire for the fleeting pleasures of sense objects, which ultimately lead man to terrible miseries, should be mercilessly eschewed. Not that kind of hypocritical renunciation which lasts for a day or two, but the wholesale uprooting of even the last vestige of such desires. If anyone succeeds in doing this, he will feel that what he was so long enjoying was but an infinitesimal part, that ocean of bliss filtering in through one or the other of the sense organs, and that now, through every cell of his body, he is enjoying this infinite bliss. Many thanks for watching the video. Please do comment on this video and share your valuable inputs and feedback. If you like our videos, then please make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel if you haven't. It will also help us grow and spread the ancient and timeless wisdom of Hinduism to others. I'll see you all in the next video.